Welcome back, everybody, to the Six Rings King Show. What's going on, everybody? Here, joined by Paul, Danny Gillette, Vish, and of course, my good friend Larry Bluestein as well. Early signing day. This is the early signing day show, so we're really excited about this one. We'll be joined here shortly by Flo as well, by Miami Flo. Look, listen. I mean, this is all about recruiting, all about these players. We'll give a little bit of a coaching update towards the end of the show as well, so you guys can stay tuned for that. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, give us some love, whether you're on the Five Reasons Sports YouTube channel or on the YouTube Network channel. Make sure you give us some love as well. There, donos are open as well. Always appreciate the love. But again, this is about the players. This is about early signing day period. Listen, today was exciting. A lot of crazy things happened in the world of college football, not just only for the Miami Hurricanes, but just in college football in general. As we all know, that basically the number one player in the country, Travis Hunter, decided to spurn the Florida State Seminoles last minute and join a former Seminole great, Deion Sanders, down at Jackson State. So that was pretty interesting to see. That kind of shook up the college football world. I think that's the craziest thing in recruiting history that's ever happened, if you ask me. But we're not here to talk about them. We're only here to troll them a little bit and make fun of them for that. But aside from that, I really want to get your takes, by the way, guys, on this. Just to kind of recap and go over the kids that did commit. We'll start off with I'll kind of name them all, right? Kamari Rogers, Jaden Harris, who was a bit of a surprise, although some guys that are in the know a little bit more had more of an idea. I think that beforehand, he was really interested in the Miami Hurricanes. I think when the coaching change happened, he was still waiting to hear back, waiting to hear from some of the new from obviously Mario. But I think that the fact that it looks like T. Rob is going to stay on the staff in some sort of capacity, I think played a large role. And DVD as well played a large role in him coming in. So we got Kamari Rogers, Jaden Harris, Wesley Basaint, obviously the gem of this whole entire recruiting class, right? Regardless of how many we signed, I think was the most important signing. Isaiah Horton, a huge wide receiver that we got as well. Who am I? Markeith Williams. Who am I missing here? Markeith Williams. Chris Graves, Ja'Cory Brown. And I'm missing one more. I can't remember now. Oh, you're muted,
Kelly,
Larry.
I guess. Kelly.
Oh, Nigel Lee Kelly. Yeah, Nigel Lee Kelly. I mean, how can I forget about that guy, right?
It was like I was in a bad dream. I'm yelling, Kelly.
So really nice recruiting class. A lot to be excited about. Only 8 kids right now, but we're still waiting on some guys that may be pulling the trigger later on this week. Some possible flips. There's some trench guys that we'll talk about as well. So we've got a lot of things to go around and talk about. I want to get started with my man here, Blue, because I think that, we were talking a little bit off air how excited we were about this recruiting class so far. And listen, not quantity, but some quality players in this class. Talk to me a little bit about how you feel about this class overall so far.
Yeah, I like it. I was, I guess, ever since I had an opportunity to see this, everybody, finally commit, from the commitment to the stages of actually signing. And now you could kind of say, you know what, guys like Ja'Cory Brown was a no-brainer. I talked to him months ago and he was always on board. He says, if they ever because that was when Miami wasn't playing very well and everybody was wondering if these kids would stay around. And then all of a sudden, they started playing pretty good, and he was one of them. I like him. He's a big kid. He's very athletic. He'll come in here and make that quarterback room one of the best ever, no matter, I know I hear rumors of people leaving, but you know what? I can't be concerned about that. Chris Graves, another kid, like him, young kid, watched him play last year, versatile, both sides of the ball type of guy, never leaves the field. I like him a lot. You just talked about Jaden Harris. I think he's one of those guys that a lot of people didn't know about. A school like Riverwood in Atlanta. He's a corner kid who's rangy. And a lot of people were on him. And some of the guys like Isaiah Horton you mentioned from Murfreesboro, from a winning pedigree at Oakland High School. Big body kid at 6'3", and he's one of those guys that fits right in with Miami, what Miami's doing. Kamari Rogers, we talked about him. We talked about him not too long ago. I think we had him on the program, and really good kid. competitor. Markeith Williams, pedigree this last year, working with Kennard Lang, a former Hurricane, who's the head coach up at Orlando Evans. Yeah, I think they did really well. When I can't say enough about Nigel Lee Kelly. I think people have underestimated him. I saw him take over a game against St. Thomas. And then when he went out with an ankle injury, St. Thomas started doing stuff. He came back and stopped. So I think he's a difference maker. And Wesley Basaint, like I said, first time I ever had a chance to meet him, Jazz, was as a ninth grader, and he was dribbling a basketball, and he stopped, and he just where he was, he just jumped up and dunked the basketball backwards as a ninth grader. And,
Wow.
and I thought he was a basketball kid. And all of a sudden, Roland Smith says, let's say, blows the whistle. He goes out with a football. I said, holy mackerel. This kid's going to be something special. He's going to get up to 225 or 230 over the next couple of years. And this kid can run sideline to sideline. And he's a tackler. He's not a pusher. A lot of these kids are so big and strong at this level. And Vish will understand, they push because they're stronger than those kids and they can push you down. He doesn't do that. He'll wrap you up and toss you down. So, great technique. And we needed that because there's too much poor tackling.
Oh yeah. And by the way, for all my people in the chat in the comments, first of all, we love you guys coming on. So what's going on to Tay, Anthony, Max is on. What's going on, Max? And everybody else, the general, the general is on. Hey, that a boy. Sandra Little, I buy houses. That's great because we might want to buy one soon. Anyways, make sure you guys.
And we have there is a lady in the chat, so everyone behave. All right,
Yeah, good luck with that one.
I know.
Right?
I like how right when you saw the general, you just went like full Miami Cuban all of a sudden.
I know, right?
Like just mid sentence, man. You were like doing your host thing and being all professional. It's like, oh no, party broke out.
Storm warning, what's going on? Long live the King, Terry Hanley, all you people on there. Sandra Little, another Canes lady on here. So we love the support. Make sure you bring your questions. We'll definitely answer them as we go. But we want to hear from Larry and Flo when he comes on also. But real quick, I kind of want to get to our homegrown talent here, Paul and Danny. Give us your take. We'll start with Paul. Give us your take on how you felt about this early signing day period class for the Canes.
I feel very content. I think there weren't any letdowns, which was a good thing. I guess most of the guys that were projected to sign with Miami, including guys like Kelly, I guess Jaden Harris you could throw in there too. I'm glad that they kind of stayed on Jaden Harris, even while he visited right when we weren't sure who the head coach would be like next season. I think like you mentioned DVD and what's his face, cornerback coach. Oh, T-Rob. They're instrumental in bringing him over. I think I'm glad that I think he was one of the late bloomers too. And I'm glad they stayed on him. And I feel like now we're kind of building up the corners, especially with him, Rogers, and Graves. I think a year or two ago we were stressing about who would we have at corner, especially with I think when Blades and Ivy were struggling. So now it's nice to build a lot of depth. Basaint was a good pickup. I think you don't see a lot of good linebackers come out of this area too. So I'm glad that especially a central guy. I'm glad they were to snag him up. Kelly's a good pickup as well. Kelly, I feel like looks bigger than what he's listed at 6'4", and he plays in Broward, which definitely helps a lot. And I think that overall I'm satisfied. I feel like there's still more to be. I don't want to say there's still more to be desired, but I'm glad that with what Cristobal has done within 9 days of him being head coach has already been plenty. Like he's already mentioned too that once he got off the plane. After he took off the job, the first person he saw was Wesley Basaint, even before he saw his own family members. So that's how dedicated, that's how hardworking Cristobal is. And even today, if you guys watch the press conference, man, like Cristobal knows what he wants. He knows what he wants out of the future players in the program, and he also wants future prospects to know their impact and their power when you commit to playing for the University of Miami. Like it's not just about putting that jersey on. It's knowing that you're part of a program that will take care of you, and you have the power to take care of the local community as well down the road. And I'm excited to just see where they stand with Coleman, the receiver out of St. Louis. I think they're in a good spot with him. Cyrus Jones, I'm really curious about just because
Cyrus
I mean,
Moss.
he's
Moss.
Cyrus
Yeah.
Moss.
And by the way, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all these things,
Okay.
all these names for
So
sure.
okay, so yeah. So right now, I'm actually very, very content with who they have. I mean, they locked in the quarterback. They locked in what 2 or 3 corners, and I'm excited to see who else they can pull. Come Friday, the last day of the early signing period.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick here, M Lemon Management. I think that's what it is. What's up, guys? Flo sent me here. Go King. Yeah, thanks, Flo. He'll be on. He'll be on in a little bit. So
He'll be
for
on
the
right
King.
now.
And
There he is.
speaking of, we were just reading your boy M Lemon Management here. I'm not sure who it is, but he said you sent him here. So big ups to him. We appreciate the love, Flo. Thanks, man.
Look at that.
There
I put
you
it
go.
I put it in the chat that we got going on. Everybody's like, "What show you going on?" And I just put the link in there. But look at that.
All right, if we can just get one person, that's all we need, right?
They will follow.
Joined by Flo now here. Before we get to Flo, real quick, because obviously I want to hear a little bit about what you have to say regarding the recap on today's early signing day period. We got a lot of things going on. I know I sent you some info as well. So real quick, Vish and Danny, I want to get both of your thoughts on how you feel about, just kind of recap a little bit about what you guys feel about this signing day signing class already.
I feel really confident in this class because it's not a big class, but it's a class that has a ton of good athletes. You look at a guy like Ja'Cory Brown and how Miami has kind of functioned with those type of dual threat quarterbacks before. I really liked him when he committed here, and I still like him now. I mean, I think that he can bring a dynamic playmaking ability to the offense, and we've seen in the past what Mario can do with playmakers. It's not a big class, but there is a lot of good players. You talk about like Wesley Bissainth, like he was one of the guys that we were always talking about. We need to get him here, and we need to see what he can do. And now he's here, and you kind of hit it on the head there, Jazz. Mario knows what he wants, and he knows the type of playmakers he wants to bring into this program. And although it's a smaller class and Mario just got here, you can kind of see a vision for where this program wants to go. And in a day and age when players can change their mind at the last second or every 5 seconds, depending on who you're dealing with, it was good to see Miami get a solid class in, and there's always the transfer portal. We have a couple names that we still don't know about coming up, and the transfer portal has completely changed the game, and we've already seen it a little bit here. And overall, all things considered, with all the factors that come into play now, I think Miami did a really nice job today.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Vish, if you want to kind of add something, go ahead, man.
Yeah, just real quick, couple of housekeeping things. So, Anthony, we did see your question on the portal. We're going to address the portal in total later. So, and I saw another question for Lou about some guys that we might still be pulling in. So, we're kind of dealing with our current signings right now, and then we're going to kind of pivot to some of that stuff. So, we're not ignoring those questions. Yeah, I think we went quality over quantity, and that's why the overall ranking is lower, because the way you get a high ranking is to stack like 25 people in your class, and we're not doing that. So every single player we brought in can play and is Miami caliber. We didn't reach for anyone. And a lot of them are a little bit younger. I mentioned Graves, also Nigel Lee Kelly's a little younger. So they're going to grow into their bodies and just, excel. And those are the... Kelly's the one I'm really excited. We struggle this year without a rush end. And I can see him being a dominant just off the edge and really kind of... It makes your defense is so much easier when you have a defensive end or an edge rusher that can just get in the backfield and without forcing you to have to like call all these blitzes, because then it just makes the game so much easier. And I think he's that kind of game-changing player. So he's the one I'm most excited for. I was also hugely excited when Wesley signed. Gary.
It's so hard not to laugh.
I know, Gary. Man. Gary's got Nebraska on us again. Oh, no, you're leaving it up there.
No, there won't be, Gary. No, there won't be.
We would not be covering Nebraska today. The last thing I'll just say, not on our class, but it looks like Mark Pope just announced he was going to join Dion at, I don't know if everyone saw that, at
Superstar, yeah. Jackson State.
Jackson State, so there's another one for Dion there.
Flo, Vish kind of mentioned something, and so did DJ on what Mario said a little earlier today too in his press conferences. He still wants to get about 16 to 20 kids in this class. That's a lot considering, listen, he just got here 9 days ago. We've already gone through the early signing day period, right? So it sounds great and all. And I know that there's a lot of names out there that are really starting to consider the Canes. We're going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to get to some of the guys that are maybe possibly on kind of looking out for flips, right? So, but real quick, before we even get to that, how excited are you about these 8 kids that we did sign today?
It's just nice not to have any bad surprises. I mean, like, a lot of people, we get all excited about Mario, but he just officially has been here in 9 days. And for him to be able to close out what he closed out with no disappointments, and actually, I know we're going to get to it, and actually a beautiful surprise it's refreshing. I mean, we saw what happened up north in the school up north today. Their whole entire recruiting department just blew up. Basically, right? So for me, it was nice. I was on the phone all day today trying to talk to everybody's camp, and it was like calm. It was really strange. Other than one camp, it was business as usual. It almost felt like we were in full control. I was pleasantly surprised with today. Very pleasantly surprised.
I think that's the right word, right? It's kind of like a sigh of relief that we didn't have to go through what that school up north just went through, which I mean, in my eyes, first of all, devastating, right? Like, second of all, that it's man, this game is so crazy right now, and things are changing so much, and now you're starting to see, which I love it. I actually love to see it, right? These HBCUs starting to get really involved in some of these bigger names. Because listen, there's no reason for them not to, right? I mean, I get it. Money is a big issue, I'm sure, in a lot of these programs. But I think what I need to see for that in historically backed colleges and universities is not just Jackson State. I think more players, more teams, more schools need to do that. Because if not, it's just going to get old real quick. And unfortunately, they don't have the resources. They may not get the resources to be able to pull off huge classes either, and kind of be able to sustain that. So I hope that kind of changes things. Coming down the road, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see. I hate that I really don't hate that it happened to FSU, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I really did like it. I really did like it. So I can't complain. Look, I just kind of mentioned it a little bit, and I'll go the opposite way here, and we'll start asking Flo and Blue some questions on possible flips or possible guys that are out there that may be committed to other schools or may still be waiting, right, to see it. And I kind of want to jumble it together as far as like possible flips and also some of the other players that we're looking at. Let's kind of start off with like the flip thing, right? Because now we're starting to talk about this kid from Oregon that's really interested in Miami. I know Armella is not committed, but that's another kid that has backed off of his commitment. And there's some other kids out there that are backing off from their commitments, kind of waiting a little bit, or that are committed and they're going to wait till February. Flo, who are some of the names that we can start hearing now coming up until February that we might kind of say, hey, that's not a bad idea, or oh wow, I didn't even know that kid was interested in, even just some idea as to who we can possibly start to hear about.
I really like the first guy you mentioned, the guy from Oregon. He's ranked the number one, depending on where you look at it, 1 or 2 offensive linemen in the country. He loves Mario. He's from Washington. He's all that in a bag of chips. I mean, his tape is just superior. I mean, the guy, for him to be ranked that high, he's good, but he's actually pretty well-rounded from a skill set standpoint. With usually, and I'm almost going to guarantee Larry will back me on this, most offensive linemen that are ranked high in high school is just usually because they're just bigger and stronger than everybody else. And they don't really start learning their craft until they get to big-time football. Right. This young man looks pretty sharp. I mean, he does a lot of the little things, like playing with leverage, which most offensive linemen don't even know what that is because they just maul everybody when they're that big in high school. He's, to me, the most likely that it'll be a flip because he loves Mario. And I heard that it's more of a technicality that he just wants to come down and visit in January just to make sure the school's good, everything's fine. And when is the last time Miami got a 1 or 2, depending on what you look at, ranked offensive lineman in the country to come to Miami from the other side of the country? So to me, that's the one that I would really look at. that's the most likely, that is probably the highest oh my god guy. There's going to be a lot of the Harris guys though. You know, the corner that we signed today that a lot of people didn't know about.
Right.
I mean, if you're in recruiting, you know there's a few more like that out there. There's a lot of guys that are hidden gems, but as far as like a big name, it's going to be that offensive lineman from Washington, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember his name now.
His last name is Conley or Connery or something like that.
Connerly.
Yeah,
That's
Connor Lee. Connor Lee.
But there's another kid also from Oregon that's committed to Oregon as well.
Yeah.
That is now looking at Miami, right? Another
Yep.
kid. I think he might be Samoan or something. Big kid. Another big. I don't remember if he was a D lineman or an O lineman. So a lot of those kids over there are starting to look this way, which is really exciting. But that kid Connerly, I think that's going to be awesome. Blue, maybe some kids that are down here, right? Some local kids.
Right.
You know, look, usually we really don't consider South Florida to be big on trenches, right? The defense, the big D tackles. I mean, every once in a while you'll get these gems like Leonard Taylor, Nigel Lee Kelly, you know, and on the other side of the ball, like a big dude, a big body, like a Navon Donaldson, those kind of players. But talk to me about maybe some guys down here that we haven't heard too much about yet, but that could be a possible get for Miami.
Well, you brought up somebody, Flo. I was going to say the last time that happened with Miami was Chantrell Henderson, and he was the top. He was actually the top player in the country, and they came down here and nobody could coach him up. And as you noticed, he became an All-Pro with the Buffalo Bills, but he didn't do anything here. So obviously, Miami hasn't had a guy like that in a while. And you just brought up a name that I think got more intriguing as time went on is Armella. Armella played with Lewis and Mario when as kids, and he went to Miami Springs. He went to FSU, so he grew up Armella's dad, and you know what? That wouldn't be the worst fit in the world because you know one thing: he's going to be any offensive lineman that comes here is going to have probably the best. Look at Oregon; they had the best player in the country 2 years ago when he was an offensive lineman. Arguably the best guy in the draft. They always do well. Mario loves it. He has Mirabal, who's a really, really good instructor and a really good teacher. And I think that somebody like Armella I would keep my eye on because he would be a guy that would probably fit the bill, you know, to stay home. FSU's not doing too well right now, so the legacy is really not there. So, you know, I mean, if he wants to, he could toil over there. But I think the future's here. You already have, I mean, you didn't FSU lost their offensive coordinator too. So you don't know. I just think that he would be one. And the other guy that a lot of people keep talking about, and obviously for great reason, and tonight I heard something else about Shamar Stewart, that he may be the second of that HBCU guys.
Yeah,
somebody tipped me off before and said, hey, keep your eye on him. He could be the second guy with a high contract to the same school. So you know what? I'm just putting it out there because I heard it, but that would be a punch in the gut because I think if he didn't go to A&M, he would come here. And boy, him and Kelly down the line would be great with what you have on the interior. See, that's where we're a perfect world. But I would keep my eye on Armella and maybe Stewart.
Yep. Real quick, Max. Yeah, Dave Lully. That's the kid I was thinking about.
Oh, Dave Lully. Yeah,
Lully in Oregon.
He's really good.
He's
he is
pretty damn good.
He's a beast.
What's up to Greg? Greg, a good buddy of mine. Greg Trujillo is actually on the show. Cool, man. What's going on, G? So real quick, back to you, Flo, on Armella. Right, like I know you've had maybe in the past some mixed feelings about Armella. I think we all have. Just based off of his play. I know we saw the tape against Nigel Lee Kelly, how he got, he really got owned in that. But there's a lot of upside with Armella. I know that he's a bit of a loose cannon, I think a lot of people think. But there's a lot to like there in his game because with a guy like Mirabal, excuse me, he might just kind of pop off. And Caden Kane just posted something regarding Armella, saying that he's going to post something on Instagram at 9:45. I don't know if anybody can speak on that. I'm not saying Flo. I'm just saying anybody. I'm not pointing at Flo or anything. I'm not pointing at Flo or anything. Hey, look, I don't know if it's BS or not, but give me your take on Armella and maybe the Shamar Stewart situation as well.
Well, I think I give Armella a hard time, and it's nothing he's done wrong. I just think he's overhyped. There's a ton, listen, like Larry said, If he comes to Miami and gets coached by those guys, I think there's a ton to work with there. What I see in him, and I'm on the minority of this, I see him bully the guys he can bully, but I see him get bullied by the guys that step up. Like once he steps up in class on the type of pass rusher, I just don't think he's been that impressive to get the hype he's gotten. Now, does he look the part? He goes to he transferred to a massive program over at St. Thomas. Like he has all the tools if he goes to the right spot and he changes his attitude and works hard. I think the sky's the limit for the young man. My thing was, I just thought he was a little bit overblown by a lot of the media outlets, and that's not his fault. Okay, that's not his fault at all. Now, Shamar Stewart is everything in a bag of, like, I think the world of Shamar Stewart. I don't see many guys that big come out of Miami that move like that.
Time out. So you're not going to mention anything about the 9:45 announcement? You're just going to blow right by it like that?
His camp has been a mess all day. The family's been going back and forth. Like, I'll share this. That camp is a mess today because they were supposed to announce, then they got cold feet. Now other camps other schools started calling them. I don't know who he's picking. I have no. Welcome to recruiting. That's all I'm like. That phone is different on recruiting day. You get different type of propositions on the day of, So I don't know who he's gonna pick, but I can tell you it could be 1 out of 4 schools, 1 out of 3 schools. I think LSU's back in the picture. To be honest, I don't know who he's gonna pick, but I can tell you that camp has been interesting today. I'll leave it at that. But Shamar Stewart's everything. I mean, that would, other than Wesley, I thought Shamar was the next must get in this cycle because I didn't think we had a shot at Nigel Leak until Manny got fired. Because I knew Nigel Leak loved Mario. And at that time, Mario was at Oregon, So I didn't think we had a chance at Nigel Leak. Nigel Leak's probably got the best get off out of all the pass rushers, in my opinion. But Shamar is just everything. I mean, he's just everything. Like that size, that strength, those light feet, the long arms, the work ethic. He's got a good camp too. Like I just, whoever gets that guy is going to be blessed. I think by him pushing it to February puts Miami really in the picture. Now, let's keep it 100. If Dion finds him that kind of NIL deal, it doesn't matter. He's gone. I mean, how does a kid turn down? What did the other guy get? 1.5 million or whatever. Yeah, it's not fair. It doesn't even matter at that point. How does a young man turn that kind of money down? It doesn't. You could go to Broward College, and if they offered him 1.5 million, he's going to go play for Broward College. That's life changing. Right, yeah. But that's life changing money for the whole family.
Free agency in high school now.
Yeah,
where's this car going? It's way off the road now.
It's a mess. On our channel, all the donations we give back for NIL deals, and it's peanuts. Not to understand what we're dealing with now. When I saw what happened today, and the figure that I heard, I'm done. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't like it at all. I just really don't like it at all. I wish we could do something to police it better. It's going to ruin and destroy everything, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna get absolutely out of control, and then there's gonna be these bidding wars, and it's just gonna be out there in the public when it shouldn't be that way, and it's gonna be illegal as hell, and they're still gonna get away with it.
But Jazz, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, but I feel passionate about this, and you can kick me out of the show if you want.
No, absolutely.
They think they're helping the kids. They're gonna destroy the kids. Yeah. This is gonna destroy high school football. It literally is gonna destroy it, and that high school football is the root of everything. If you don't protect that, it's over. And I don't know. I'm just.
But the NCAA will find some way in their great hearts to put dark periods every goddamn week, so we can't get these kids recruited. But they'll turn their freaking back on those name, image, and likeness deals. They'll turn their back on the transfer portal. There's no governing. If you're going to have these. These things have to be governed. If you're going to have listen, I'm the first one to say pay every athlete, but Jesus Christmas, not $10 million over a 4-year period. Holy Christmas. Now we're getting way away from this thing.
Terrible.
I mean, before it was, hey, I want my kid to feel good, to go out for a dinner and when he wants to, or go to a movie or take a date out or something like that. But Jesus, it's escalated from that, a couple $100 to something that, we never thought. But the worst thing about it is it's not governed. This thing is going to get way out of hand. I mean, you're going to get Toyota and all these other places. Drive my car and I'll give you $4.8 million this year. What?
Not only that, you're going to see instances where kids are going to completely take advantage. Like you said, Flo, like you said, Larry, it's going to ruin the kids because they're going to take advantage of this. And I'm not saying that he did it, but a kid like Quinn Ewers, who got 1.4, 1.5 from Ohio State for being there for 5 months, and now he gets in the transfer portal, and now he's at Texas, right? So like you're gonna see that a lot, right? You're gonna see guys that are gonna take the bags, and I'm not talking about bags like the old school days. Yes, Wonky kind of mentions, kids get paid no matter what. I get that. But this is a different level here. This is a different ball game that we're dealing with right now.
This is corrupted.
Yeah, and kids are going to take advantage of it. And listen, rightfully so. You put them in this position for them to do this. This is what's going to happen.
But this all is come because of decades of NCAA incompetence. Like if they treated the players with respect and worked with them to come to a way to pay them a reasonable amount of money for the fact that they're generating billions of dollars, this would have never happened. Because you can then write into contracts, you can't take money from this, you can't take money from that. I think the NFL and pro sports leagues operate with a set of rules. They treat the players with respect, that the Players Association and the league negotiate what's fair for both sides, and that's how they govern it. Their refusal to treat the players with any kind of agency and respect forced them to go around the back door. And now they don't have. How are they going to police this anyway? It's state government laws doing this. Like they have no teeth. What are they going to do? We're in America. You can make money.
Yep.
And so the way that pro sports leagues are able to regulate that is by treating the players with respect, working with the labor unions, and they come to an agreement on these are the structures we'll all agree to. And the reason you do that, the reason the players agree to that is because that at least allows like a minimum salary for people that otherwise might not get paid a lot. So the top get less, the bottom get more, and it meets in the middle. But they agree to do that. And that's what makes it legal. Like this whole NCAA thing where they're like, you can't get paid for your work was illegal to begin with. And they had a long period of time where they could have figured something out where they'd pay him like $10,000 a year and probably would have gotten away with it. And they didn't do it. Yeah, they didn't do it. And then eventually ended up in court. And that thing was illegal the whole time. Like, what industry can get together and say none of you can get paid?
Right.
That's BS. And so now the dam burst, and the only way they're gonna get the genie back in the bottle is to again go back to the players and say, we'll pay you direct from the school. These are the parameters, because these numbers we're seeing are ridiculous. But there's not an endless pot of $10 million deals. Like, there's too many kids playing. Like, these will be anomalies. The normal kids are still not going to get crap. So that's where the NCAA still has an in. Because these blue chippers, they'll get money one way or another. But where the NCAA has an in is we'll pay every single kid X. And they'll have a better chance of maybe getting some agency back. But right now, like they can do whatever they want. Like an NIL deal can be whatever you want to make it. Like this person's work. Because if you think about it, when a normal company pays someone to advertise for them or to be a pitch man, they're doing their calculation and saying, hey, if I get Aaron Rodgers on my State Farm commercial, this is how much exposure it's going to get me. It's worth this much money. This NIL thing is crap. It's just a backdoor. These kids aren't worth $2 million to the school for revenue generation. They're just paying them to play football. That's their salary to play football. It's not really their advertising value.
I think
and
Flo
so,
has something to say about that.
Go ahead, Flo.
Well, now that I ruined the entire show, I'm going to continue. So you'll never ask me to come on again after this. So here's the issue. You're right. The blue chippers are going to get, but here's what's going to happen. The schools are only going to take 10 to 12 high school guys, blue chippers, that they can pay those crazy deals, and then they'll transfer portal the rest. So what ends up happening is a ton of these guys that could get Division I or whatever, whatever college scholarships aren't going to even get the offer because now other schools are going to do the same thing. So you're going to look, I just read something yesterday that Texas State is thinking about not taking one high school
Yeah, I
student.
saw that.
You know, like that's again,
Crazy.
call me boring, whatever, but I'm a high school fanatic football. You know, like that's where all this started. If we don't protect that or find a way to protect that, this is going to end things. It's going to end it really bad because I don't know if I agree with you, Vish. I'm going to push back. I think money will continue to more and more people are going to try to get involved because now, oh my God, I'm an alumni in Miami. I got this business and they contact me and they're like, hey, we got this 4-star over here. You know, what do you think about your taco company throwing him $100,000 a year, you know, and you can be a part of it. That's already happening like crazy.
Yeah, no,
right?
no, that I agree with. I'm talking about that $1 million level. There's a
Yeah.
number that the NCAA can get together with the schools and the players and
Facts.
say everyone gets 25 or 30,000 a year
That I
and
like.
shut this down. They
Yep.
could do that because
love
I think
that.
the players will agree to that because not everyone's going to get the NIL deal even at a big school, right? The blue
I agree.
chippers are going to get 6 figures minimum. Like that's where it's headed. And now you're seeing 7 come around, but
now you're
that's
also,
that's the only way.
Now you're also seeing this issue with Texas football, right? And what they're doing with these offensive linemen. I know Max brought it up on the show last night, and he's talked about it with you on Sundays as well, Flo. Listen, man, they just signed 7 offensive linemen. That's $350,000 that just right there.
A year.
Those offensive linemen got. Yeah, a year. Boom.
Yeah, but that's a pittance. You know how much money Texas makes in football?
Yeah.
This is so ridiculous.
It's about the wording, though. It's more
Yeah.
about the wording than about the money itself. Because if you look at the wording, apparently what's been out there, it's they're using the word scholarship and they're also using fair market value. Flo?
Yep.
I'm sorry, but if Cam Williams turns out to be a first rounder and Kelvin Banks gets hurt and doesn't play a down of football for Texas ever again, where's the fair market value there? You're still paying them the same amount, right? So, like, how does that work, and how is that legal, or how is that fair market value?
Yeah, that's where you could get into like a gray area in terms of
Exactly.
if you're sitting there saying any offensive lineman, how is it their name image likeness? If you're just like a generic offensive lineman, $50K, right? If you're going
two of
there,
those guys,
Yeah.
And 2 of those guys were Miami leans on Friday. 2 of those guys were Miami leans on Friday, and on Saturday, they're wearing Texas. Oh, they're like, oh, I think we're gonna go to Texas. Like, how funny is that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And by the way, Alan here says that Ewers did not collect on that NIL. I mean, hey, I'll take your word for it. I'm not sure about that. And it's true though, right? NCAA has been kind of quiet about Texas. Shamar just tweeted 10 minutes ago about something for tomorrow. Listen, these kids are playing a lot of games, man. Michael, I don't know what he's gonna do. Look, this is a great segue because someone that we thought was a heavy Miami lean, right? We talked about percentages. Well, Flo, you and Max talked about percentages about this specific kid, and we'll get back to some of the other kids that we're talking about. But I think this is a perfect segue to this. And Blue, I want to get your take on this. Also, is what happened with. We're talking about kids just wanting the attention, saying I'm going to shock the world and this, that, and the other. We're talking about Kamari Wilson, right? If you don't know, it's Kamari Wilson, right? Couple of us, Flo, Max, a lot of people thought, hey, listen, this kid may be Miami's to lose, even though he didn't put our name in the top 5 or whatever. Just things that happen. It's recruiting, right? Recruiting happened, and he may have had us up there and possibly pulling the trigger to the Canes. But for one reason or another, something happened. He didn't shock the world. Nothing. That's crap, right? He ended up committing to Florida today. So, what's the situation? What was the situation? What was the situation there with that, Flo? Like, what the hell happened with him?
2 words. Ready?
Yes.
Corey Raymond.
There you go.
Corey Raymond. I mean, no. Honestly, I talked to Kamari on Sunday, and I could tell you he was about to do a surprise thing, and it was going to be Miami. And then Monday came, and I started getting different dialogue from him. And then it seemed like Georgia was going to do some NIL stuff. I'll just say that. So then I was like, oh. And then today, I knew Corey was pushing for him. I mean, Corey's a top guy. I mean, he's a top guy. If you're a DB and he wants you, he's probably getting you. His track record is I mean, it's incredible what that guy did at LSU. You know, he's probably the best recruiter at DBs in the last, what, 7 years, 8 years, maybe in the country.
Very good.
I mean,
look at all the guys in the NFL that he coached.
yeah. So to me, I mean, I think Corey Raymond just went, look, bro, I'm here. You know, I just think that's what happened at the end of the day. But at Sunday, I thought we were really in good shape after speaking to Kamari. But stuff changes. You know how this works.
Yeah.
Blue, what's your take on Kamari? And
well,
kind of your take on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to keep you hanging.
No, you're good.
Kamari, I'll tell you, this is a kid I've known since in the 9th grade at Westwood High School in Fort Pierce. And I had an opportunity to see him at a lot of camps, and we kind of got close. And his uncle, who was happened to be a coach who used to live down here and went up to Virginia, kind of introduced me to him. And we've had a really good rapport. And when I talked to him, a couple of weeks ago, I would check in with him, see how he's doing and all. And I went up to a game this year and saw him, and he's always given me the indication that, if Miami has the people that he likes, at his position to coach, he's going to really, because he wants his family to come see him and all that. So kind of switched up on, especially Florida. And the only reason, if it would have been under any other circumstances, I don't think that Florida would have gotten him, because Florida's lost a lot of kids that, are pretty quality. I don't think that they would have gotten somebody without the help of Corey Raymond, who, as Flo said, I mean, he's the pinnacle. He's he's a proven guy, so he doesn't have to go into anybody. They all know him, and I think when he got to Florida, maybe made a quick phone call, see what his status was, and say, hey, maybe we'd like to get you up here. He was kind of sold, maybe flattered that somebody with that type of pedigree and coaching and churning out players would, think of him. So.
Yeah, listen. Like you said, Corey Raymond is one of the best, if not the best, to do it. T-Rob is not bad, and as you can see, he still helped. Right, he still helped with guys like Jaden Harris, Kamari Rogers, Chris Graves, and there's some others that are still out there. That we'll probably get to in just a second. I kind of want to see something that I just saw it now. I don't know, Flo and Blue and you guys and the rest of the crew. I don't know if you guys saw this, that Kevin Coleman posted. Canes fans, follow me on IG. I'm going to be posting some pics soon with the orange and green and the throwing up the U. That's someone that I actually wanted to talk about because he was on my list of guys that I kind of wanted to go over. Kevin Coleman, I really want to kind of bunch these guys together. And Blue, I'll kind of start your way also. First, Kevin Coleman, Cyrus Moss, and let's throw in Marcus Banks as well, who has obviously been crystal balled to Miami. What are your thoughts on guys like that, like Coleman and Cyrus Moss?
I love Coleman. I mean, obviously, what's not to like? A tremendous football player, great talent, great, he's actually a really good student of the game. The Moss kid intrigued me. I thought maybe he would be the guy that would say, you know what, I want to come to Miami because I want to be a part of something special. He's the only thing that he isn't is he's not technically sound, but everything else of his game is great. I mean, he's getting better and better at what he does, but he's a beast and somebody who could develop. And that, I think, guys, in the whole scheme of things, that's the key word, because we've had dudes here before. We've had really good kids, but they've never been developed. And I think that that's a selling point that maybe that Corey Raymond has, that as we get more coaches down here. And like I said, I'm just so confident the fact that whoever we get down here, whether it be the coordinators or the position coaches, they're going to be the best at what they do, because he's not going to settle for anything less. And they're going to be someone that the kids are really familiar with, I'm sure. And I'll see a lot of chance. But Moss intrigues me because I think that Miami's got I thought coming in that they had a really good shot with him. As far as that's concerned, I think that Miami, what they're looking for now is to try to get the best of, I think Mario said today, 16 to 20. Try to get 16 of the best 20 kids that he can get. And he's not going to wring out the cloth for him. He wants to get kids that are going to fit the system. And like I said, the portal's going to be, and I'm sure Flo knows, I mean, right now they've got people just around the clock checking out the portal, see where they, what their status is. And that's one thing I heard about coordinators today. I think he's got a couple in mind. He's just right now has to check on the status of their contracts. And that's, Miami doesn't need to be paying anybody else. We keep paying a lot of people. Maybe they could sell the turnover chain and pay some of these things out.
And all those NFTs that they're collecting, they can use that to pay some people. You brought up a good point. Maybe some of these guys are practicing for big bowl games, right? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Look,
I hope so.
Oh no! Well, yeah, I was being facetious for sure. Yeah, and yes, by the way, I did just use the word facetious in this show.
See,
Anthony,
I'm influencing you already, man.
Bish, look at Bish,
man.
boy.
You're rubbing off on me, man. Anthony brings up a really good question that I think we were going to talk about anyways, Flo, because I wanted to bring it up to you. Is if you could post it up there real quick, Vish or Danny. Flo, if Marcus Banks is signed, sealed, and delivered like the crystal balls are saying to Miami, what other corners in the transfer portal are we going to get? Kind of answer that, and maybe even talk a little bit after about Cyrus Moss, because I know the Cyrus Moss situation, what his recruitment is looking like, and some other guys that we'll kind of get into after that.
I mean, yes, there's definitely another corner that has South Florida ties that's in the portal. I don't want to speak on his name, but there is another corner. And if you guys go look, I'll let the chat figure it out. If you go look in the transfer portal and you look at South Florida corners that are in there, that is one of the highest ranked guys, you'll figure out who it is. It's kind of easy at the end of the day. So yes, and I do think Banks is ours to lose. I think there's been enough conversation there, and it's all been legal, So I like him a lot. I think he brings in. He's going to be a competitor. He comes from a massive program where he got a ton of snaps, and just being coached over there, knowing where it's a business move for him. It's the Tyreek move, right? It's the I can go to Miami and get on the field a lot more and show, a lot quicker, right? And Reek might come back now. Like, that's what's crazy about it. I'm hearing that he might come back, which is amazing. I think it would be great for him. But I think Banks is ours to lose. There is that corner in the portal. And Moss, what impressed me with him is what he did. He left USC early, traveled all the way around the country, came here, but he didn't just come here. He stayed late that day. He stayed late and he got a lot of one-on-one time with Mario. So the thing, clearly he comes from a massive high school program, right? We got a couple of guys that went there that are pitching him that actually turned out pretty solid. So that's in our wheelhouse. It makes us good. The only way I think we don't get him is because he's close to USC would be the only way he'd pick USC. Other than that, I think there's, from what I heard, he loves Mario. That's the thing that's weird about all these big recruits. When you talk to their camp, it used to be like, why, why won't you come here? What you're hearing is they believe Mario, like his vision. He's apparently Mario is doing an incredible job of laying out how they're going to, handle this young man, how they're going to develop the young man, not just as a player, as a student. Clearly, Mario's a master at this, right? Clearly. But it's a different type of dog we're getting now. We're not getting a regular Doberman. Like, he's going after pit bulls that are trained. Like the blue chippers that we're going after now are a little bit different. Miami always gets guys, right? Like we do. Let's just keep it real. We've never been able to develop them. But now Mario's getting guys from all over. And I agree with Larry. I think the type of teachers he's going to bring in there, because they're not just going to be coaches. The type of teachers he's about to bring in there are going to be something that we haven't seen in, I don't even know.
20 years. 20 years.
At least, I mean, the names that we're hearing, like just the analysts that I'm hearing that are walking around campus are guys that are well respected, like guys that are they can go get coordinator jobs at smaller schools. They're coming over here to be analysts. When have you heard that in Miami? You hear that with Bama. You hear that with Georgia, right? You don't hear that with Miami, and they're already on campus. I saw Gabby report something from 247 that he saw some couple guys that he didn't even know walking around with Miami Hurricane polo shirts, and like, who are these guys? And then he found out later these are guys that are like coaches from Louisiana Tech, coaches from somewhere else that are already here in some type of role. Already Mario wasted no time. I think Moss is definitely between us and USC. I think I would lean towards us, just like I think the guy that I mentioned. I think the Washington guy is something we got to keep talking about, because, like Larry said, I couldn't remember until Larry brought up the last time we got an offensive lineman that was ranked that high from that on the other side of the country. Moss, I would say 70-30 Kane. Banks, I would say 90-10 Kane.
So
And
what's holding Moss from
I just
not
think
Moss,
he wants
Banks from committee.
that. I don't know. I would lie to you. I would make up a lie if I tell you why he hasn't already said Miami. I don't know if he wants to maybe do like an announcement. Now they want to do that whole presentation on Instagram. Maybe it's that. I know Moss wants to do it at the All-American game with Coleman. That I do know.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thanks, Kai. We appreciate the $1.99. Might hate the case is he's a Florida Gator here on 5 Reasons, so we still appreciate the love, kid.
I almost accidentally entered their swamp chats. They were both like running at the same time. I was like,
oh wow, don't do that.
No, we got to join the winning stream. What are we talking about?
For real. Real quick, just some things from the chat as we continue to move forward with this. Gary, yes, I can attest that spelling and grammar is a strength of Vish. I love Gary, man. I love it. Resident comedian here on the show. We should take Jahmyr Gibbs from the portal. He hasn't committed anywhere yet, but I don't know if this is the guy you were talking about, Flo, but Rick's just committed to Bama.
Oh no!
Yeah, he just committed.
Are you
to Bama.
serious?
Yeah, he just committed to Bama on
Saban got us.
Yep,
of course.
Yeah. And Jahad Campbell as well. I changed his name because I don't like to say.
No, it was Rick's. It was definitely Rick's. Oh man.
Yep. And Jahad Campbell committed to Alabama also after decommitting from Clemson. So,
my God,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
the rich get richer.
Unbelievable. Hey,
dude,
but
Rick's
listen,
can play.
Yeah, he's a baller. So, but look, there's still some guys out there that are not in the transfer portal. Just just good cornerbacks that are in high school that have not committed yet.
I'm so salty right now. I thought we had a good chance with him.
Yeah, until
Saban called him.
Saban called him. That's it.
That helicopter landing in the schoolyard all the time gets you, man.
That was all she wrote there, man. That was all she wrote with that one. All right, so real quick before we kind of get off the subject, because I do want to get a little bit of a coaching update with you guys and kind of get your ideas and thoughts of what you think is going on with that. Two more guys, and I just want to get yes or no's or kind of percentages on if they'll be Canes or not. Number one, kind of guy that we haven't talked about too much recently is Terrence Lewis, T2. Larry, what do you think is the percentage that he lands in Miami?
There's a good percentage. I think there's maybe over a 50% chance that he comes here. I think that he, first he's got to meet everybody and within the structure. I just think it's so imperative that this coaching staff come together so we can see. That's another way that you're going to get a lot of these other kids too, because these coaches could be coming from different places that kids will really love them, in the past, and they played against them or whatever, and they maybe make the move. You don't know. And that's the one thing too. Think of all the places that Mario's been, from FIU and Miami to Rutgers and to Alabama and to Oregon. And there's a lot of people that probably have impressed him along the way as coordinators, as coaches. And those are guys that he's reaching out to right now. I mean, listen, he'll never say a thing to anybody when he does that. I know, because I've known him forever. He's inside his own head, and he knows what he's after. And that's, so that's really difficult. I could tell you T2 would love to come here. I mean, he certainly would, but he's got to be a fit, and that's the whole thing. They tried to, when he was in high school, they tried to move him to Chaminade and Palmetto, and he wasn't. You got to be a fit. Just because you could play doesn't mean you're going to get along with everybody else on your team. So, there's a lot of talent. A lot of people, and that's another thing. Mario doesn't want to bring in people just to bring them in. They've got to be fits. They got to be chemistry. They've got to be able to get a chemistry going with this team, and that's the only way moving forward that you're gonna build from it. You just can't. And I see what he's done, and that's why I think it's so important. I think Flo will agree. The one thing about Mario, he's got so much experience now. I mean, he's just, there's very few things that you're going to throw at his way that he's not going to be able to handle. And that's important. And I think that's, if I'm a recruit, I see that and I'm thinking, you know what? I said personally today, this is his last job. He'll be 61 when this contract runs out, and he'll be he could live on Singer Island or wherever for the rest of his life. So it doesn't really matter. So that's why I'm saying. So he's here. I mean, it's not like, hey, I heard that Mario will be moving on. The only way he leaves, I think, is if the Dolphin job opened, and then he wouldn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, no kidding. Flo, is T2 a fit? What do you think? What's the percentage?
I heard somebody on the staff today, not a on the field coach. All right, just somebody say that knows T2, that watched T2 grow up. Knows the whole in and out, followed the recruiting. Is that we want T2 so bad because of what he can do on the field, and he's like the perfect guy for what we need as far as football. But I think with Mario and what Mario is putting together here, this could actually save T2's career. Because Mario is, I don't want to ever talk bad about a young man, but I'm worried for him if he goes to another program that he gets a little too much flexibility. He's already transferred and didn't even see the field at Maryland because and Maryland's got some pretty good guys that know South Florida guys, if you know who's there, right?
Ryan Williams, one of
yeah,
those guys too.
Yeah. So I personally believe that I don't think it's like, putting a round peg in a round hole. I think it is putting a square peg in a round hole with T2 coming to Miami. But I almost think he needs to force it in a little bit because it could save his career. Look, what he's going to do on the field is easy. He's gifted. The dude he's a hunter. That's what I like to – he's a hunter. He is a hunter. He's got the size. He's got the speed. The dude is a hunter. Now, Mario's going to run a tight ship. And that's where we don't know. I do know that the talks have been going well, So I probably have to say, I would say 65% chance that he lands at Miami because I've heard there's already been a little bit of communication, and it seems like there's interest on both sides. I do not know if there's been a face-to-face yet, and I think that'll be the telling thing. If I don't know if it did happen. It happened very recent. But there has been communication. And yeah, T2, I agree with Larry. T2 wants to come to Miami. Yeah. I just think Miami is doing their homework right now, But I think West coming here and possibly rooming them together might be good for T2, because I know that they play.
Right?
They know each other. There's a couple guys he knows on the team, to be honest with you, right? Yeah. But we also have some dogs in that linebacker room that are going to push T2, that are like the same mentality that T2 is. Like Deshaun is no joke.
That's the first one I was going to mention.
Deshaun Troutman is no joke, and Keontre is another one that is no joke. So you're going to be put in a room of some like-minded hunters. So we got to see how that plays out. But I would like to see T2 in Miami because I think it could save his career.
But he can't call the shots. He's got to let the coaches do the coaching, and that's in high school. That's why he's really tough to deal with because he, whether that's why he didn't last at Chaminade because Damian Jones wasn't going to let somebody from the outside ruin what he had going. So, but he's outstanding though, like you said, when he's on that field between the lines, it's just off the lines. You just got to have people that are he's got to be able to connect with everybody. And like you said, knows all the kids with Northwestern. He knows Brantley, he knows all those guys, from playing with him from when he was a kid. So yeah, he would make a difference. He would be one of those guys where you'd say, oh my gosh. I mean, you got Wesley Besaint and you got Nigel Lee Kelly and maybe Shamar Stewart and him in one class.
Wow.
What a great defensive haul that would be.
That would be awesome. And
then you got all these underrated corners like Kamari and all these guys that are going to come in and they want to play. And you've got athletes. I'm telling you, this could shape up by the time spring starts. You look back and say, wow, you know what? This could be the best first year class. And we thought that, in the last regime, I guess it was Manny's first class, and he had a few good kids that came in. And the same thing with Al when he had that 1 year and he had 5 or 6 guys that came at the end. So, but I think this will way, way past that because Mario's got a reputation, and his reputation really, really is a winning reputation. So,
you guys mind if we take a couple more questions here on the chat, and then we'll kind of talk about coaching? Vish,
real quick. Let me just because Steven did throw $5 our way, so he is correct. It's not as simple as just there is Title IX issues. You're gonna have to get a lot of lawyers involved if you're gonna pay the players. You can probably tie it to revenue or something and loophole it through. And
But
then
they
do
do
it.
pay the women. That
Right.
what's her name? That
Yeah, with NIL, we were talking earlier about like
Yeah.
straight up just we're gonna have a salary that the school is gonna pay directly to
Right,
the players. That would definitely run into Title IX issues, but you could probably tie it to revenue and find loopholes. You get a bunch of lawyers involved, they'll overcharge and figure it out. But yeah, it is. We did make it sound like it was kind of simple. Just get together and do it. You can't do that. There are other implications because I guarantee you, some women's basketball programs like Connecticut would 100% pay a salary to their players. So
Oh yeah.
so it wouldn't, but you would tie it to revenue or whatever. But I just wanted to. He did pay to to do that. So I definitely wanted to.
I was gonna, yeah.
And that was a good point, Steven.
Thanks for the dono, by the way, man. Appreciate that. Real quick, before we get to these questions here in the chat, I don't know if you saw it in the chat yesterday, Flo, but I have a name for Deshaun. I don't know if you saw that I posted it.
I didn't see it.
Now that we have the other Cuban here, I only think that it's fitting to call him the human missile Craig.
Hey, I'm going to be on record. I'm going to say this. Once he gets on the field,
yeah, he's going to hurt people.
He's not coming off the field. He is extreme. I know he was in the doghouse because he was lighting people up at practice. A lot of people don't know this. Like you know how they wear this certain jersey or whatnot and whatever. I'm not going to say what happened, but he got a little bit of the doghouse with the coaches. But he's like that. He is extremely aggressive. He's super fast for a linebacker. He actually has pretty good size. People say, oh, he's little. Dude, I've seen him in person recently, like 2 weeks ago.
So did I.
Oh, yeah, you were there. That's right.
There.
He's not that small. He's not that small at all. You know, he's been in the gym. You can see it. I like him a lot. I like the attitude. I think if he gets a fair shot, which I think he's going to get in the bowl game from what I'm hearing, I think a lot of the fans that kind of forgot about some of these young guys, like the Tyler Johnsons, the Deshaun Trout, like, you know, okay, they do need time. Clearly they need time. But I want them to see that they have the potential is actually pretty high. It's not just a role player. I think Deshaun could be that good. I really do.
Pimp Down here we'll get into this question now. Pimp Down Vish, if you want to put that up real quick. This is actually where I wanted to kind of end the whole recruiting conversation with Pimp Down Row. What about linebackers and D line? Are we making any advances with under the radar kids? I would even kind of venture out to say not only under the radar kids, just big time trench guys. Okay, so I kind of want to answer this question this way. I don't want to just talk about linebacker D line, but I also want to say O line. So this is how I'll end it with this because I think this is important. Give me Blue. We'll start off with you, Blue. Give me the linebacker / D lineman that you want to see in this class or you want to see them go after, and one offensive lineman. Just give me a name on both sides.
I told you I'd like to see Armella in this class. I really would. It's maybe improbable. I don't think so. I think Flo could probably be closer to that situation, but you think with the Latin connection, really, sometimes when you have that, it's closer and there's more family than you think, and people know each other. And I just think the very fact that he would come here and make a huge impact especially with the coaching. I think that's huge for him. Are you talking about interior D lineman or the DN? Like I would like to see Shamar here.
No, yeah, anything. Yeah, you want Shamar? That's fine. Yeah.
We did also have a question if you thought Shamar could move inside and play tackle. Is that possible?
He could. Yeah, I think he could because, well, he's like Flo said. I mean, he's got his first step is really explosive. He gets out. He's got long arms. He's strong. But also, I've seen guys do that as a defensive end and move interior. I mean, they played a little bit. I saw Joey Bosa a couple weeks ago. They shifted him inside, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, that poor center is going to have nightmares because that kid, you know how big and fast and strong he is. He's going to, before you look up and snap it, he'll be on the quarterback. So, yeah, I like to see them get those two guys. That would be helpful.
Flo, guys that are not Shamar Stewart or Julian Armella.
I'm going to cheat. There's a guy that went in the transfer portal today from Oregon. He's a D tackle, 6'6", 6'7", 3. He's just a duplex. He's an absolute just monster. But there's rumors that their D line coach is going to come over, the Samoan guy, who's excellent, by the way.
Wasn't he here recently? Didn't they say they saw him here?
There was a rumor that he came around the campus.
Rumor, right.
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
You never know.
you never know. That's right. But
We're just
there's a
average
rumor
fans.
that you know that he may be interested in coming over to do the D line, and it's just weird because when the rumors started getting hot, this D tackle decommitted. I mean, excuse me, went into the transfer portal, which was today. And as soon as he went in the transfer portal today, I think Miami already offered him.
Wow.
So just follow the tea leaves. You know what I mean? Like
Follow the hiring.
right? And he is instant. Put on the. He's just.
What's his name? I know that was one of the guys.
Those
that I was
Samoans,
thinking.
man, I'm telling you, once you get them here, they're gonna all start coming.
Yeah. Dude, he is
Jones?
He is
Jason
massive.
Jones?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's
Yeah.
he's like 6'6", 6'6" and a half, 340. Did you hear what I just said?
I think
Good.
Cristobal literally said in the press conference, he was like, "This is one of the largest human beings I've ever seen."
Yes.
Oh, so
yes.
he was
Yeah.
talking about him, huh? That's what he
Yes.
was
So,
talking
yeah.
about.
Yes. Thank you, Paul. 100% agreed. He is just unbelievable. I think that I'm cheating because he's not a high school guy, but I do think he is. I think he would be. I would love him in this class
Yeah, that would be nice.
because real quick now you can free up Leonard Taylor, right? Now you can you don't have to. He can play. You can move him around on the line. You got that big plug right there. You know where a guy that's gonna take
Jason
two guys.
Jones. Jason Jones.
That's him. That's him.
Yep.
That's him. Yeah. So I cheated, but I'm allowed
That's
to
all right.
cheat.
By the way, real quick, Gabby. Apparently,
That would be good. Yeah.
Max says that Gabby just got word that Armella's not choosing Miami tonight at 9:45.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know. Anyways, and your offensive line guy. Who's the trench bully there that you want to see?
I cheated already. I want to watch. I need him. I need him. I just want. You know why? Because I think it would be Mario stamping it. Like, look, I'm only here a few weeks, and look what I did. I pulled the number one guy in the nation that
Wow.
you guys couldn't pull. And listen, tell me that wouldn't be a stamp that I'm here and I've arrived.
Yeah, no
From Washington. Like if you know recruiting like Larry, we don't do that. We don't do that. That would be such a I'm sticking my chest out move by Mario if he could get this done.
It's like when they got DJ Williams from California. I mean, they got a major star, so
that would be
doesn't happen very often.
No, but I think I think it might start happening a little more often now with Mario back on this side.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that'll be fun. We'll kind of end with this question before we talk a little bit of coaching before we sign off. Julian Carrillo says, would y'all take a running back in this class from the portal or from high school? I think there's some talks out there about some couple of guys, but maybe you guys want to talk about some running backs that I think you're interested in or that you can see coming to Miami or what you're hearing. Flo, if you want to kind of take that off first.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with Coach Hickson, honestly. And I think that has a lot to do with, I know he's talking to the guy that's out in Nevada or Las Vegas. He's one of the top backs in the country who's interested, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that has his legs, to be honest. I thought we were in play for Edge's, the Heat, but I heard he committed to Harvard today.
No,
So Howard. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I was going to say
another
Harvard.
HBCU steal right there.
Yeah, because
The kid can play. He's
play.
just undersized. I've watched him 4 times, but he worked well in that wing T thing. But he would have been a good get because he's he's a lot like maybe a slot kid like Bouchard. He's a lot like him.
Yeah,
but
he lit up Heritage.
Yeah, no, he lit up a lot of people this year.
Right.
But the thing is, I had a talk at that game with Vero Beach when they played against Treasure Coast and with Edge. And he told me that all his kids have gone to HBCU schools. He said, if they're just going to go to average schools, I'd much rather them go to one of those so they find out Heritage, which was really good. And the kid's not bad. And it's Larry Scott, so it's a former Kane guy.
Yeah, no. Raise your hand. Yeah, I would have liked Miami I thought he would have been a good fit. We need 2. in this cycle,
Yeah.
whether it's transfer portal or not.
I think so too.
There's no
Get
big
Nate
program.
Kwan right out of that damn transfer. I wish he went in. Boy. I'd take him in a second. I take that guy's Duke Johnson in a second. He'll catch 90 balls in
Oh,
college.
I thought you said he went in the transfer portal.
No,
I was
if he did, I keep urging him to go in.
Get in there. Get in there. Well, you don't see one major program that has less than 6 backs, right? On the roster.
Yeah. And
So
look how many you needed last year. You had to play
Exactly.
two true freshmen last year.
Yeah,
Chug
I
my-
think go ahead.
Chug my beer real quick. Sorry for the dono. Chug my beer always come through in the clutch. Big fan of the show. Chug, baby. Great show, guys. Appreciate all your hard work on the you. Smash the like button and support the channel.
Chug.
Canes
What
for
a
life.
great name. What a great name.
I love him. My bad, Flo. I cut you off there real quick.
No, you're good. I just look. I think the Hickson thing is going to be interesting because if he stays, I think there is a high school guy that we might be able to grab. If he doesn't, I think it's going to be 2 portal guys. I really do. We have to. We need the depth. I mean, Mario is not stupid. We're going to get 2 guys. I just don't know who they are.
Bigsby is an interesting name. Also,
Oh my God,
he hit the transfer portal out of Auburn. So I
saw that.
Did he enter the draft? Did he enter the draft?
The portal. Bigsby and Shivers both.
Well, Shivers went to Indiana.
Oh, he did already. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wanted Gibbs. I thought Gibbs was I couldn't believe Gibbs was in the portal when Gibbs left Georgia.
He hasn't committed anything.
Yeah, but I think I think there's somebody else ahead of us for that guy. But I wanted Gibbs because I mean he'll come in here and might push to start. To be honest with you, he's that good.
Yeah,
and versatility. You can move him around, throw him the ball. He's got great hands. Like he's definitely
I think Julian mentioned Zach Evans. I think he committed elsewhere already too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Juanqui says that apparently Bigsby is staying at Auburn. So.
They convinced him to go back. That's what it was. Yeah. Yes, that's true.
That's why you thought, maybe he gotcha.
Auburn flipped somebody from Bama today, which was impressive to me. It's escaping my name who they flipped, but
1 out of 5 million ain't gonna
but it's their rival, which is kind of like what?
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun when you flip someone from
No, I hear you.
Florida.
I hear you. It's probably somebody they didn't care about much, bro.
Right. Yeah. Les, we answered your question, brothers. Anything on T2? Will he be joining the U? We answered that a little earlier, but both Larry and Flo think that there's more than a 50% chance that he comes to the U. He's just got to be a right fit with Mario and with the whole culture here at Miami. Just kind of wanted to reiterate that real quick.
So I don't know if we touched on this. I don't know if Larry has thoughts on
I love Julian Lewis. I'll tell you what, maybe the most underrated guy in the whole freaking South Florida. This kid was committed to Georgia Tech at one point, backed out. Now, I mean, big body kid, strong, possession kid, catches the ball. He could play.
How about Caleb McKenzie?
Caleb McKenzie's not, I like Caleb McKenzie. I don't know if he's I don't think he's a Miami kid, but definitely, you look at him. I'm sure Mario's going to explore all options. But Julian Lewis is a really intriguing guy because of the fact that he was committed already as a junior when he was at Stranahan before he went to Western to Georgia Tech, backed off, and I don't know why. Because I watched him this year, and he was as good as any senior receiver. And the other guy that I thought Miami should have gone after was Phil Dunham from North Miami Beach. Ends up at Indiana. That North Miami Beach always has kids like Ishmael, who went to Syracuse and led the Big East. He had, ACC was the all-time single season leader in reception. So, yeah, Miami should pay more attention than when North Miami Beach has a kid.
I think Indiana's doing a great job, by the way.
They really
are. But
great job.
You know what? They had done a good job. Like Coach Allen's a really good coach, and he used to coach at Armwood High School, and he had a real kinship with the state. But the only bad thing about it is the last couple of classes he hadn't done well. Now he's picking it back up, though.
Yeah.
Anthony writes here, Pano, if you guys had a choice between these 2 D tackles, Jeffrey Emba and Jason Jones, who do you pick?
Oh my goodness!
I'll start with this one first. We can kind of ask everybody here. The only reason I'm going to say is because you may have 4 years of this monstrosity, so I'll go Jason Jones.
Yeah,
but I don't think you can go wrong with either one.
No, I agree. Either one.
I don't care. Just give me one. I'm good with either one. Are you kidding me?
So alive. So will I. But I mean, if I had to choose one, gun to my head, I say Jason Jones because you get 4 years of that animal.
Or
Um,
3, whatever comes first.
or
Yeah.
three, right? Or three, right? You probably get 3. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
You'll probably get 3.
It's like
Man.
Leonard Taylor. I said, you better get his butt in there quick because you're only having him for 3 years. So.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
real talk there. All right, so let's end with this because I think you all did a good. By the way, thank you guys for all that recruiting info. I think that it's going to be exciting to see what happens the next couple of days because we've still got some names out there that could be.
I'm following Flo, man. I'm following Flo.
I mean,
man.
why wouldn't you?
He's got
Why
all the info.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you, Larry, you have no idea. As soon as Jazz said, "You want to come on the show?" Larry's gonna be on the show. I was like, "Yeah, I'll make it happen. No problem."
Well, I appreciate you doing it. I know it's a busy night for you too.
It is.
And
it must be crazy.
We're good.
Real quick, we'll kind of end on this because I think that we're talking about this all night, really, and I think it's important to understand that a lot of these kids, like Nigel Leak, even said it today when he committed, right, about the coaching staff. He's like, well, they've talked to us about some options that are going to be that they've told us some. The gist of it was they've told us some guys that they're looking at to bring in on the staff, but he committed to Mario, man. He committed to Mario and the Miami Hurricanes because he is not 100% sure. I'm sure there's rumblings out there. Flo, Larry, I'm sure you guys have heard some big names. What are some of the names that we need to look out for in the next week or so? Because I'm assuming, right? I don't think this is a reach on this assumption, but I'm assuming we're going to hear something very soon here because I just think that at this point there needs to be some movement on developing your staff and getting your staff together because of February, right? Because February is around the corner, and there may be some guys that like I mentioned earlier are prepping for big time bowl games right now.
Yeah.
But there's also maybe
you
some
mean
guys
as far as coaches?
as far as coaches, yeah. So talk to who are some of the guys that maybe you're hearing about or that you kind of want to hear about. Blue, go ahead. Start
well, no, I mean, I thought you were talking about some other players because we have the state championships down here this week, and we're still in that early signing day, and it's going to go right through there. So you never know. There's a lot of teams down here with a lot of talent, so you never know. I mean, because they could still be out for this week. And then it gets dark next week, I believe it is, but they could still be out. So I would suspect that that's where Mark Rick landed, Shaq Quarterman and Pinckney and those guys, that being at a state championship game that year. So you never know. I'll be honest with you, Jazz. I haven't heard a lot of names. I mean, I think that what they want to do is nail down coordinators first, and then you start selecting, guys from there because it's sort of like the AD. The AD needs to pick the coach, so he's in full control and he understands you're the one that hired it. Well, same thing. I want I want to hire an offensive coordinator, and then I want to run over all the positions with him and say, what do you think's the best? So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Mario's in this super rush to get that. He wants to get it right, and he wants to get people on staff that he's comfortable with. And I'm sure Flo will agree that if you go into it and you just grab, I'll just take Johnny, or you're better off keeping the guys you got here because they're loyal. At least let's see how it goes. I mean, none of these guys are going to do anything but help you that are still on staff there. I mean, they're proven teachers, and they were part of that revamping process. So if you can't find anybody, stay with. I like Jess Simpson. I might be the only one, but I think he's really a good teacher.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like you mentioned that they're all great teachers. So I think that. And Mario is a man of integrity, right? He's a man of integrity and respect and loyalty and so on and so forth. So I think that the guys that are going out on these recruiting trips now are going to stay on in some form, in some way, some shape or form, some sort of capacity. I think that a lot of them are going to lean more towards analysts, and that's fine. That's where that's where programs are made, right? Alabama has 47 analysts. Like you get 10, 15 analysts here. You know what I mean? Like that's where the program is kind of molded, man. It's those guys that have these direct lines of contact and relationships with all the coaches everywhere that can get everywhere because that's what they do. That's their whole purpose is to recruit, analyze, and build relationships with all these teams so that when Mario comes in, it's a wrap, right? Like that's what it's all about. So I'm with you, Blue, and I'm sure I'm gonna be with you, Flo. A lot of these guys like T-Rob and DVD and Pop and whoever it is that's out there, Ish, and all these guys that are recruiting with Mario right now, I think are going to stay on probably more as analysts. So I really want to kind of understand where your thought is, where your head is, Flo, on the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator position, because we keep hearing guys like Kendall Briles now, right? And still Brady, still Ken, Tom Herman is in the picture, Graham Harrell. There's a lot of great names. Are those the guys that we still got to keep looking for? Is there another dark horse name out there that we need to be looking at? And then on the defensive side of the football, also it's Schumann. I know people want Gary Patterson here, and they want Derek Mason and all these big names. So, talk to me a little bit about what your thought process is on what's going to happen there. I like what Larry said. He may not be in the rush, but there's got to be names there now.
Yeah, I think one thing a lot of even the media, whatever quote unquote insiders that people are finding out really quick is that Mario does things different. He's surgical. He's very calculated. He doesn't care about being popular. He doesn't care about anything. He's a guy that has a plan, right? And he's going to try to execute the plan how he sees fit. I know a lot of people think that all this hiring stuff with Mario just happened in the last week or two. Look, come on. We know that this has been in the works for a long time, right? So he's got his Rolodex is a little different than, no disrespect, but to Manny's Rolodex, right? I mean, when you worked under Shiano, when you worked under Saban, when you worked under those kind of people and learned under them, and remember, he's got a direct line to Chud. Chud knows everybody, right? So the type of people that he's probably shooting for first are guys that he's going to have to wait on because they're probably still coaching because they're good. I think that a lot of the names that are out there are smoke. The only one that I believe that is real is the guy from Georgia, the Schumann. I think that's a real name that Mario it's targeted. But when their DC went over to take the Oregon job, right? I think that got interesting because now Muschamp and him are both co-DCs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Kirby is no stupid guy. Kirby's pretty smart at what he's doing also. So I would like to say that if I'm going to give you a dark horse name, I'm not going to say anything on the defensive side, but I'll say on the offensive side, just keep an eye on someone like that he has a relationship with that's over at App State that's doing a great job, which is Ponce.
Yeah. Listen. I talked to Frank today because they're down here to play in the bowl. I'll tell you what, man, from your mouth to God's ears, because that's a guy who's a tireless.
He's a smart guy. He's a very smart. He's a great. And he's a tireless recruiter, right?
To beat Miami this year.
Yeah, listen, App State is no Mickey Mouse program, and a lot of the people that don't follow football hardcore think they look at App State like, that's App State. That's not a Mickey Mouse program, and I know I can't say I know, but what I hear is that Mario will like someone that he's familiar with, and understands. And look, Frank knows the area clearly. He's got ties here. He's done a really good job of where he's at. Okay, it wouldn't be like a favor, right? I think it wouldn't surprise me to hear something like that. Or I'll give you a hot take. It wouldn't surprise me that Mario waits to see how Likens does in the bowl game as an OC. And just says, you know what? This guy's familiar with the players. He knows what they can and can't do. He's been an OC at two other big programs, right? He has the experience.
And he's got that West Coast mentality like Mario gained. We all know what he did when he became passing game coordinator.
Yeah, right. I that would not shock me because the players love Likens. The players love him. But the name that Mario targeted first, everybody know who it is Ken Dorsey, but Ken said he wanted to wait to see what happens with the NFL. So I don't know if Mario waits that long, to be honest.
Yeah, really.
So
because you got to kind of sell your players on who's coordinate the offense.
Yep. But my dark horse would be Frank Ponce, and I personally think that since Mario meets with the players, talks with the players, they're going to speak really highly of Likens. And I think he may, he said he wants to evaluate the staff. How good can you evaluate an OC preparing for a bowl game? That's a paid audition right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be what I would guess.
You know, it's starting to at first you're like, we don't, wow, what the hell are we going to promote from within, wide
Right.
receiver coach and Likens. But the more and more you think about it, if you know football and you understand what happened the minute that they said, well, hey, let's get Likens in, and him starting to kind of coordinate this passing game. Now
Yep.
with TVD, you saw what he did with TVD, and
Right.
God knows that he's going to open up the playbook in this
Yeah.
bowl game, and he's just going to let it ride with everybody that's there and all the players that are. I mean, all the young guys are going to want to
Yep.
catch 10 passes each. So it's going to be exciting to see. I think it's going to be exciting to see what's going to happen in that bowl game, and it's going to tell you a lot. I know a lot of people don't want to think that a bowl game tells you a lot, especially if it's a meaningless bowl game. But I think this bowl game is going to tell you a lot, especially from a coaching standpoint.
Facts.
And
Mario's gonna watch every practice.
Yeah,
he's gonna
there.
watch every
Yeah.
meeting. He's gonna he's like that. You know, he is a CEO mentality type of guy. He's
Yeah.
gonna be in you don't a lot of these guys are auditioning. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, he's smart.
It's his business. I mean, he doesn't, he wants to see what's going on. I mean, I don't blame him.
Absolutely.
But how come the Sun Bowl always does this? Every time we play in this damn Sun Bowl, Al Golden's up there watching, Randy's up there. Let's get out of that Sun Bowl stuff.
Every time we go there, it's with an interim coach.
Yeah.
Third
No more
time
Sun
in a row.
Bowls.
Third time in a row. Well, I mean, I think the issue was we're playing in the Sun Bowl. That's why the coach got fired.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's kind of
Could
a
be in
little.
the Gasparilla Bowl and just be barely over 500 now.
True.
I mean, we are barely over 500. So.
Silver lining. Real quick before we kind of finish, because I want to hear from Paul and Vish on who your picks for possible OCs and DCs are as well. Oh, what is that for? What is that for?
Larry might know this.
What happened?
I just got a text from somebody that the quarterback that's at Pace is transferring over to St. Thomas.
Yeah, he was supposed to. Well, he went to Western. Heritage, but then they wouldn't let him play, so he went back to Pace. And yeah, well, I heard Aronson, the kid from Palm Beach, Benjamin, was transferring to St. Thomas for next year.
Aronson?
Yeah, Aronson, yeah.
Oh, I just got whatever, how you pronounce his name.
Your buddy Colin Hurley did an awesome job. Freshman quarterback winning state like that.
Yeah,
he's different. Sorry to interrupt you. I just saw the text. I was like, what? Going to St. Thomas?
Colin Hurley's coming to Miami.
All right, well, let's see. I hope, man. That dude is
14 years old. Give the kid a chance to.
Oh my God!
Give the kid a scholarship already. Damn it. Yeah. Real quick before we kind of finish off here, DWB, great. Thanks for the dono, $4.99. Great show, Flo and Blue. You guys are the goats. Thanks for all you do. Hell yeah, absolutely. Those are facts right there. These two are the best that do it down here in South Florida. That's for sure. So, but I want to give a chance to my boy who's over at Portland, as the world sets on fire out there in the West Coast. First of all, news. Paul.
Yeah, when you leave the state, turn the lights off, man.
Oh man, Paul, who's your OC and DC candidate? Give me two names.
OC, I kind of like Ponce. Like you guys mentioned too, like it definitely helps when Cristobal has a level of comfort with guys he's familiar with. I think him and Cristobal and Ponce were both together at FIU for a bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
And then, so I think that helps. And he's highly regarded too. Like you guys mentioned, he knows the area well. I think he coached at either Coral Gables High or Miami High for a few years.
Yeah.
Well. He was like an 04.
He went to Miami High. Was a quarterback at Miami High.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for defensive DC, I really like Schumann. I think Schumann, like the only thing is that with Schumann is that, like you guys mentioned with Lanning going to Oregon, is that position now is open. And I mean, who's Schumann to turn down?
Muschamp and Schumann are now co-defensive coordinators over there. They got promoted.
Okay, so I mean, I guess
that doesn't mean anything because he could still leave. That doesn't mean anything, but it's a promotion, so now there's going to be more money involved. So
it's still an SEC job,
right?
Too, or does he want to be a guy that wants to call the shots in Coral Gables? And Schumann and Cristobal were together, I think, at one point when they were at Alabama. So Cristobal kind of knows him a bit,
right?
So I feel like it's a Schumann, and I think I feel like people don't really understand how big Miami's assistant coach budget is right now. Like I saw an article mentioning that I think Ohio State's this past year was like 7.6 million. Miami's
Yeah,
is like
we're
8.7,
8.75. Yep.
a whole million higher
Biggest
than Ohio
ever.
State. Like we're not playing
That's
around.
big.
So I feel like if Cristobal just tells the administration to go and chase a guy like Schumann, I feel like they're gonna find a way. And he's only like 30 or 31 years old too. So he's really, really young. I feel like, players are definitely buying into that energy. Especially a guy that Cristobal will buy into. I think that, I feel like all of us are kind of sold on Cristobal's energy towards the program, that we're kind of just like with whatever he wants. Like, you get that he sees the vision, he gets the vision, he's able to portray the vision to
You have
everyone
to
around the
trust what
program.
you have to trust what he says because of his knowledge and his experience. I agree.
By the way, go
Go ahead.
ahead. No, go finish.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Cristobal, like I'm just impressed by his composure. Like he understands what the Orange Green is about, and like he understands what this you can be worth. It's like he got, like, there's no telling him like, oh, this is what the tradition is, this is what the prestige is about the University of Miami. Like he knows already, and he wants to help it grow and foster it. Which to me, I'm just like, here's the keys. Do what you want with the car.
It's crazy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go. You're good.
No, it's just crazy because, like, first of all, Schumann is on everybody's radar. All the big schools are like, he is like he's the guy that everybody would like to get. So you're gonna get in a bidding war for him. But how cool is it that we get someone like Mark? I love speaking about this because we could never talk about this in years, right? How cool is it we get someone like Mario that comes here with experience and knowledge, right? That's proven as far as knowing how to build a program, but gets arguably one of the top ADs in the country to come and stamp him with approval and all the money he wants. It's almost like I can't believe this is happening at Miami. It's so strange.
It's surreal. It's
so strange. It's so strange. I'm sorry.
We don't usually have nice things like this.
No, I know.
Apparently, Armella committed to FSU.
Okay.
Oh, there he goes. Daddy
someone has to, so it's fine.
Yeah.
They got to feel the team. So
yeah. Real quick, by the way, I'm gonna go at the end because I really want to piss off Flo with my answers, but go ahead, go ahead, Blues.
No, I already said.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vish.
Yeah, so I'm kind
Oh,
of.
by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we're starting to make it big when we have to block bots. All right?
I know, I saw that. We got bots coming in there. I've been blocking them, man. I got in there and did some blocking. Just like our offensive line, hopefully next year. All right, so defensive coordinator, I'm looking at George as well, but basically the way I view that is that's a market opportunity. You got a defensive head coach who knows going to be overbearing, and you got two co-defensive coordinators, both of who are highly thought of defensive coordinators. You can shake one of the co-defensive coordinators loose. Go there and be like, you can have the keys to this engine. You can drive this car. It's all yours. You should be able to get Muschamp or Schumann out of there. None of them wants to be co-defensive coordinator under a defensive head coach. That's not... I mean, it's Georgia. It's a big-time program. They're in the playoffs, right? So it's not like a bad job. But if you go to that same person and say, to Flo's point, competing on money now, so we're not asking you to take a pay cut. Like, we'll give you the same or maybe even more money, and you can come here. Mario's not going to get involved in your stuff on defense. You just run your defense as yours. We got to be able to sell that. So I'm looking to shake one of those two loose, whichever one we can get out of there. And then offensively, I mean, Flo mentioned earlier Chud's got connections. Why not Chud himself? I mean, I think this is it's a little weird.
You got to get Chud down here, and this kids,
I know.
they don't want to leave, right? That's the thing.
I feel like Mario's the only one that could do that. But I think it would be a pretty tough sell job. Like I said, he's settled. I mean, he's sitting fat on his money now, doing analyst stuff and not really working. To be honest,
Chud would. If you could get that guy here,
that's Alabama type shit right there.
I mean, he's like the next level.
I mean, this is he obviously coached our national championship teams as well, but then he became an NFL offense coordinator, NFL head coach. Like, this man is frankly a little bit overqualified, but I'm hoping to play on personal loyalties to the school and to Mario. So that would be, since we're just doing dream coaches, that's where I'm going.
All right,
Jazz. Let's hear this.
Flo, here we go, baby. I got you.
I'm
I
worried.
got you. Dan Mullen is my offensive coordinator. Because Flo loves Dan Mullen. He loves him some Dan Mullen. One of the best offensive minds in college football. Dan Mullen is going to be my offensive coordinator. This is talking about who we want, right? And I'm just throwing this out to piss people off because in reality, I probably want more like Chudzinski or something. I want Chud, but let's go with Dan Mullen. We're going to throw a little 12-6 on you right here with Dan Mullen as it. And
Is his
then
wife gonna weirdly kiss all the players getting on the bus still, or is that only
what,
when he's head coach?
whatever it takes, if we score 50 points, she can make out with all of them. All right.
Look, he's a genius offensive mind. There's no doubt. I just don't think he's a Miami fit here. Honestly, I don't see how Mario and him could work together. I really
He
don't.
won't recruit, so that
Yeah.
means that Cooney will have to go do his recruiting.
Yeah, like I just don't see how he fits Mario. At the end of the day, they're completely on opposite spectrums. But I can't deny. I mean, that guy is a genius. Like he's a really good OC. There's no doubt he's a good OC. I just don't like him at all. I don't like him as a person. I don't like what he did at the program at Florida. Even though I'm a Miami Hurricane fan, I'm all about the kids at the end of the day. And he's lazy. He doesn't like Larry said. He's not going to recruit. And good luck not recruiting and trying to work for Mario.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'd also say cultural fit might be a problem.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way delicately.
Especially with those sneakers that he wears. Anyways,
Oh, Jazz. Gosh.
all right, fine. We'll just go Chud then, Flo. Jesus, that's who I really wanted to say, but I just wanted to say Mullen to piss you off a little bit.
You did a good job.
Oh, I appreciate it. Say, well, that's what I'm here for. Every once in a while, I gotta throw. I'm just hoping that you come on my show again. And then defensive coordinator, I like Derek Mason, man. I think Derek Mason is the truth. I don't think he'll go anywhere right now. I think, he's kicking ass at Auburn. He's doing really well
I see his name getting thrown. How do we get him out of Auburn? Like he's running I know we have money now. Yeah,
what's he making? What's he making? Like $1 million, $2 million bucks a year, something like that, right?
Well, here's a question for you guys.
1.5 million.
Here's a question for you guys. Ready?
1.5? Okay.
This will tell me a lot. Is Miami a better job than Auburn?
Right now, no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's no brainer.
wait, sorry. Is Auburn a better job than Miami? You said, right?
No.
No, other way around.
The other way around.
Other way around.
Is Miami a better job than Auburn? I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
Flo, what do you think? Yes?
I don't know. My honest answer is I don't know. Where we are right now and where they are right now.
They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback.
No, we're not a better football team.
But
when you look at you're in the same state as Bama, man. That is messed up. Auburn's like a beast of a program that they just get dwarfed by the mammoth in Tuscaloosa, man. That's just you can't get. It doesn't matter what Auburn does. They've won a championship within the last decade. It doesn't matter. They're still. Alabama's won 15 or whatever. It's just you can't
That's my
I just
argument.
look at it as this. I'm going to be biased. I would say right this second, it seems like Miami might be the best pro, but it's the first time we're about to spend money. Auburn just spends money like they're bored. And they're in the SEC. They get great talent over there. They just overhauled pretty much their entire coaching staff, right? They brought in Derek Mason, who, if I'm not wrong, wasn't he the head coach at Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
I mean, so man, if they could pull Derek, I would lose my mind. I think he's a home run hire if you can get him away from Auburn and come be our DC. If I'm him, I'm like, man, I'm making really good money. I'm in the SEC. I've gotten a chance to recruit players already. I'm gonna go to Miami in a rebuild, not a real rebuild because there's talent here, but you know what I mean. Like with a new AD, with a new coach, with a new culture. He's a proven guy. He has nothing to prove. At the end of the day,
but he's any culture.
But to me, it depends on what he wants his next.
Yeah,
what he wants his next. If he wants to be a college defensive coordinator, and that he should stay at Auburn. If he just because the ACC is bad, this team right now that we have, if we get the right coaches in place, can win the ACC next year and go to
I
a
agree.
major bowl game. So if
I
he's
agree.
looking to get his name back out there and get back on the head coaching carousel, he'll probably get more high-profile opportunities to show out positively. Because he'll definitely, like, everyone will watch the Iron Bowl. What are they going to look like against Alabama in that game?
Right,
Through
right.
no fault of his own, right? So it's
But
really like...
that's gonna happen here. I think that's gonna happen regardless because that's what Miami football is, right? Like Frank Ponce comes here and he's the offensive coordinator. In 2 or 3 years, if he's kicking ass, he's getting a head coaching job somewhere, right? Rob Likens might be the only one that I can see staying here a little longer than 2 or 3 years because he may need to really build up his resume again to be a head coach anywhere. But you give me a guy like Chud and he kicks ass in the end. He kicks ass here. Maybe he retires, or maybe he goes back to being an analyst, chilling, maybe a desk. I don't know what the hell he's gonna do. I don't know. Yeah, desk job. Desk job. What I meant a desk job is like in the NFL or something, right? Just kind of like laying back and chilling, executive role. I don't know if he ever wants to be a head coach again. I don't know Chud like that, but I mean, that's that role that any coordinator is going to have here, whether it's defense.
Yeah, no, it gets you visibility. I mean, we just fired the head coach, and our offensive coordinator got a head coaching job. And the same off the same staff because Miami has visibility. Miami has juice.
And our
it always does.
And our head coach that got fired got a defensive coordinator job at a Power 5 school.
Yeah, no, right? Miami has visibility, and if you do well here, you will do. That's why our coaches. I mean, until recently, they left to the NFL. If you do well here, you get a bullet. You get a star by your name, and you can go to the top.
Yeah. So I agree. I agree with that.
I think it's going to happen regardless. So, anyways. All right, it's 10 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm sure you guys are tired. It's been a long day. I've been completely useless today at work anyways. So, Flo, Blue, we really appreciate you. Flo, where can they find your work, man? Talk to them. Flo?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said.
I
thought you said my bad. I'm easy, man. Miami Flo. You know, we have a channel that we have a bunch of shows on our channel, all different type of shows. I'm not on all the shows, thank God, so I can have a life. But we do something a little different than everybody else. All the donations we get, we give them to the players from NIL deals to try to support the best way we can. I really enjoy what I do. Other than that, I just really appreciate being on this show and being able to talk recruiting on signing day, which is amazing, right? Like it doesn't get much better than that. And I'm excited for the future. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Always. Blue, where can they find your work?
Every Monday night, 6 to 8 on WQAM, we do a show and we have pretty good guests, coaches and players and such. And also I have a website, LarryBluestein.com, covers Dayton, Broward, and then Prep Red Zone, Florida, which covers the entire state. And every week on this beautiful network, Alex Dono and I do a nice podcast geared to the Hurricanes. I've gone off in the last couple of weeks, as Vish will tell you, on a couple of subjects. And we have a good time. Alex is one of the best ever, and he's such a great guy. And have a good time. And I've been doing this stuff for a while. I enjoy it. Doesn't get old, I'll tell you that. And I do, but it doesn't.
Yeah, right. Blue doesn't get old either.
And I thank you for the opportunity to be on here because you guys are all passionate and very knowledgeable, and I love listening to some of the ideas, and even Paul way out there in Multnomah County there. And
reaching my ass off over here, man.
You are. Paul, where can they find your work, man?
Well, the right handle is right down here, and I'm going to try to put out a recap.
I thought you were gonna give me like your terminal number or something over there at the airport at PDX.
I mean, I'm at Terminal D if you guys ever fly to PDX. So,
JetBlue, right? JetBlue. So we got to make sure JetBlue look for
if you're ever boarding a midnight flight out of Portland to New York, it's probably on JetBlue, and you'll probably see me at some point in your experience. But yeah, I'm going to try to put out a recap once this early signing period is done, so you guys can keep up with who chose Miami and who didn't, and be on the lookout for that.
Gary, by the way, Gary says that if you're cold, you should wear an Oregon sweater next time.
He missed when Paul wore an Oregon shirt, but he was smart enough to keep it out of frame. We saw it backstage.
I have one. I actually have a jacket back there, but I decided not to wear it.
Yeah, he was smart enough not to bring it onto the.
Smart man. Vish, where can they find you, brother?
Yeah, right here. Where
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Right.
Only writing the best
Yeah,
Miami
Oh
Flo
yeah,
that's
he's
content there is.
he's a great writer, man. He comes up with some great pieces. I'll tell you what. I like your throwback things. Those are awesome.
Those are amazing work. So, and then you can find us here at Six Rings Canes, right there, Six
Yep.
Rings Canes, on the Five Reasons Sports YouTube channel and also on the YouTube network. And whenever we have something, you guys will all be notified. We're here every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. And of course, every now and again, we throw some different stuff at you also. So we'll be on next week again. We've got some really good guests next week. Steve-O is joining us next week, Flo. Steve-O, baby. So really excited to break down some of these players with him, as he is probably one of the best guys out there right now in
For
South Florida
sure.
who breaks down film of all these recruits and a lot of players and stuff. So check out his work whenever you get a chance. Again, thank you guys so much. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Donos are always appreciated as well. Again, thank you all for being on the show. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Go Canes.
Good night.